Hi everyone. So this will be the last set of slides before our exam. So everything up until the end of this presentation will be on the exam, the first exam. So we are again talking about the family economic environment. So let's get started. So what comes to mind when you think of the word household? A household can be a number of different things. It can be grandparents, it can be yourself and a roommate, it can be yourself and a partner and your child, it could be just yourself and a partner, it could just be you, it could be you and a parent, or you and your parents. It could be, there's so many different definitions of household. So for you, when you think of the word household, what comes to mind? In the last slide, I asked you guys to think about what a household meant to you. Now, I want you guys to think about what a family means to you. Like a household, a family unit comprises of different looks many different ways. It could be, again, just you, yourself, and yourself. It could be you and your partner. It could be your relatives. It could be you and your parents, or you and your sister, or you and your best friend from second grade that grew up and decided to live together and are coexisting together and pooling your resources to just create a home. So a family unit can be a number of different things and different definitions depending on the type of family. So Fitzsimmons and Williams described a family unit as a unit in a larger economies of the community and nation, interacting with them, influencing, and being influenced by them. The family economic environment is comprised of three levels: the family economic system, the near environment, and the far environment. The near environment would be the local government and businesses conditions, like public resources, as well as places of employment for labor force participation, along with provisions of goods and services that could be purchased by the family. The larger environment would be the economic system, so cultural systems, political systems, technological environments. But for us, we want to take a look at what happens in the family economic system. We want to focus on what happens within a household. We want to understand the people in the households and what decisions they make. As we know, the family unit has a number of functions. It carries on processes to achieve desired outcomes of the family members, like satisfaction, goals, lifestyles, standards of living, and well-being. Wealth and services are produced, allocated, and distributed, and consumed by its members. Has anyone heard of Gary Becker? So, Gary Becker is a very well-known economist and Nobel Prize winner in economics. He suggests that families make decisions in order to maximize the family unit. Families maximize utility by choosing and producing optimal combinations of Z commodities. These are things like clean clothes, food ready to be eaten, tax returns ready to be mailed, floors clean enough for children to play on, and other things like that. In making decisions about producing, are also making decisions regarding how they will allocate the household's resources in order to produce the optimal combinations of goods and services to meet the needs and wants of households. There are also decisions about how to distribute the produced goods and services among the family members' consumption. So these are things like using time to use the goods and services that produce satisfaction, or use leisure time, rather, to use the goods and services that produce satisfaction. Remember, consumption provides satisfaction, also known as utility. Ask yourself, when do I get satisfaction from something I buy? So let's say that you buy a TV. You don't get the satisfaction from just buying the TV or having it in your home. You derive satisfaction when you use the TV to watch a movie or your favorite TV show. Some people like to cast pictures on their TV, so looking at pictures on your TV. So there's so many different uses for your TV that help you derive satisfaction. The household production approach is based on the idea that goods provide satisfaction when we use them. However, that takes time. Like it takes time to watch a movie or our new TV, eat meals, and things like that. Without time, there's no consumption. So consumption is defined as the process that combines goods and time. We derive satisfaction from the use of goods. Naturally, you want as many combinations as you can get. I do want you to note that the cost of consumption, so the cost of the commodity, is not just the price of the good that you use. It also includes the cost of your time. So in this figure on this slide, Gary Becker models the economic behavior. We can see the importance of time. Total time is separated into 3 sections: household production, market work, and leisure. Market work produces the income that we need to purchase market goods and services. These market goods, combined with the time we allocate for household production, brings us to our Z commodities, like prepared meals, clean clothes, and saving for retirement. Consuming these goods provides us with the satisfaction or utility. But in order to enjoy these things, we need time allocated for leisure. Because time is limited, we must make decisions on how to allocate it. Levels of economic decision. So there are 5 levels of decision making. The first, strategic, which are crucial, long-lasting, and have widespread effects. Examples of this are whether or not to go to college. The second is tactical. These are a continuation of strategic, and they are relatively infrequent, moderately long-lasting, and have important effects. So this will be like what college to attend and where to attend. Next is policy. This is the execution of strategic and tactical. Policy is somewhat infrequent, but sets the rules and the norms. This will be like what major to choose. The control level regulates. It changes slightly or facilitates prior decisions. So back to our college example, this will be like what option within my major should I specialize in? The last level is program. And this level modifies regular actions. So this will be whether to attend a particular class on a particular day. Our focus in this class is on the strategic or the central decision that we make over our lifetimes. This is described as the central satellite decision model. A central decision is surrounded by decisions that are offshoots of the central decision. By looking at levels of economic decisions, we can see the central or strategic decisions and then the decision that we are going to make resulting from those central decisions. Again, we're going to focus on the strategic level decisions. They are infrequent but very important decisions that have widespread and long-lasting effects on many subsequent decisions. So some examples of this are whether to rent or to buy housing, whether to get married or not, or whether to have a child. There are many models of decision making, but the diagram we're about to see in this next slide, in the next few slides actually, is the classical model of rational decision processes. A typical decision-making model. So the first step is to simply recognize when a decision needs to be made. This may sound obvious, but how many times have we all let the force of inertia or habit or make decisions for us, or even delayed an important decision until it was too late to act? Here we define out our problem. There has to be a problem, a felt need for a change, or a question that has to be answered, or a prior action that needs to be continued or reversed. The challenge is to define exactly what the problem is. Different family members may define the same problem differently. So, partner A may decide, oh, we don't have enough money for a vacation. And partner B may say, well, partner A spent all this money on a computer. This step often involves clarification and reconciling different views of the question or problem or issue. Consider alternatives. At this stage, we are narrowing down the possibilities or one or two acceptable alternatives. Ideally, we would love to be able to consider all the possible options out there, but as we know, this is impossible. That is why we choose a few alternatives that we will use to compare. The next step is to imagine the consequences of alternative courses of action. In this stage, we will think about the most likely alternatives. We will imagine what will happen if this decision I made is the best decision and I enjoy every bit of it. Or what if it's the worst decision ever and I regret it? For some people, this step can be daunting and they can get stuck. I know I struggle with it sometimes. This is also known as the pre-purchase expectations, which are beliefs about the anticipated performance of a product or service. Next is to develop an action plan. So once we have decided on what we want, we create a strategy or plan on how we are going to get it. Putting this plan into action is called implementation. During this process, we follow the progress being made and evaluate how the plan is going. The last stage is evaluate the decision. This is the final stage of our decision making. It is like the reflection stage. Once the process has been implemented, we will look back to how successful our decision was. You may ask yourself, did I make the right decision? Should I have chosen something else? In this stage, you may experience what is called post-purchase dissonance, also known as buyer's remorse. After a major purchase like a car, the buyer may seek some kind of reinforcement about the decision they made by talking to other people that made the same or similar decisions, or looking online or doing more research. Having that extra reassurance or reinforcement helps to alleviate anxiety about the decision-making process.